I'm Dr. Shweta Agarwal, consultant dermatologist at Apollo Hospitals, Navi Mumbai. Today I'll be giving you some information on chickenpox and what is commonly known as shingles and its reactivation, which is called as herpes zoster. So chickenpox and herpes zoster are caused by a virus called as varicella zoster virus. The first exposure to the virus causes chickenpox, which is a rash all over body, and the reactivation of the virus is called as herpes zoster, or commonly known as Nagin. The chickenpox infection spreads through droplet infections, that is, when someone who has chickenpox sneezes or coughs, the saliva or the which goes into the air and inhaled by somebody, or if it drops onto a surface and somebody touches that surface, it spreads. So usually seen in this season. Another way for it to spread is close contact with an infected person. So the fluid of those vesicles, they are vesicles is the fluid filled lesions that we see, they are infected, and through close contact with that it spreads. So generally when this rash starts, it starts with fever, body ache, and seems like any other viral infection that we get in this season. 2 or 3 days after that, we see a typical rash. This rash starts with red spots all over body, usually on the central part, that is the chest, abdomen and the back, sometimes also in the mouth. This is followed by the appearance of a fluid filled rash. So the rash is typically called as raindrops on rose petal. So the base is red and on top there is a fluid filled lesion. This gradually dries off and forms what we call as a crust or a scab. Now when it forms the crust or a scab, that is the stage when that lesion is not infected. Usually we see crops of lesions over a period of around 5 to 7 days. So the older ones heal, newer ones come up all over body, which includes the mouth, the genitals, and when it is there in the mouth, in case it is very severe, it causes difficulty in eating or swallowing. Many people tend to ignore this because this infection has been there since a long time, and previously there was no treatment for it, and therefore people just followed home remedies, and since it is self-limiting and in kids the rash is very mild, so most people felt that there was no need to treat it. But there can be secondary bacterial infections, therefore this infection can be treated and should be treated. Usually this infection occurs in kids because they are playing together, they don't realize the other kid has this rash, so spreads through schools or playgroups or creches. And in adults who are working in situations where there are kids around, they also are at a higher risk of getting this infection. So how do you prevent this infection? So there is a vaccine which is given to kids at the age of around 12 to 15 months of age and then followed up at 4 to 6 years. Adults can also be given this vaccine if they think they are going to be exposed to this virus. So especially a relative coming to your house, if there's a patient in the house, then that relative can take the vaccine. So this vaccine, 2 doses are to be taken at 28 days apart. Now when this infection goes away, the virus still remains in our body in one of the nerves, either on the right side or on the left side. And sometime later in life, this virus gets reactivated, usually induced by stress or seasonal changes or lowered immunity. At that time, the rash comes as a band of fluid filled lesions, either on the right side or on the left side, and it's an extremely painful condition. This is the time when the patient comes to you early. That's because of the pain or the discomfort, and it really affects the quality of life. Usually this reactivation occurs after the age of 40, but the earlier you get the chickenpox infection, it can come up in the early age of 20s also. There are vaccines to prevent this herpes zoster. Since the symptoms of pain or discomfort is more in those above the age of 60, This vaccine is available for those who are above the age of 60 to prevent reactivation and prevent the discomfort, because those who have diabetes or those who are immunosuppressed can have a florid variant of this rash. So usually, like I said, it's a band, so it comes up in the area which is supplied by that particular nerve. But in those who are immunocompromised, it can spread to the other side also, and it can affect the areas of the skin above and below that particular nerve. So what we call as a disseminated infection, which is one of the signs that the patient is immunocompromised, which can occur in those who are HIV positive. Treatment for both these conditions remains the same because it is caused by the same virus. So there are antivirals like valacyclovir or acyclovir or famciclovir, which are given for a period of 7 to 10 days. They can be given orally, they can be given in the form of IV medication, depending on the condition of the patient. So as far as the symptomatic therapy is concerned, anti-fever medicines, so like paracetamol is usually given to control the body ache and the fever. Anti-allergy or anti-itching medication like topical application of calamine lotion or certain other lotions to relieve the itching, and antihistamines like Avil or levocetirizine are given to make the patient comfortable. So these are symptomatic treatments to be continued only till the fever is there, only till the itching is there, which usually subsides in the first 4 or 5 days. After that, these medications are not required. In herpes zoster, the same thing, that apart from the antiviral medication, we give topical antibiotic creams to prevent secondary bacterial infections. Sometimes we even give painkillers, because this is a very painful and very discomforting lesion. Sometimes even affects the patient's sleep pattern. Patient can get very irritable, especially the elderly. So in herpes zoster, the symptomatic treatment is very important, because in this, even after the rash reduces, the pain can persist. So treatment for pain, which includes medication which relieve the nerve inflammation, can go on even up to 1 to 2 months after the rash heals. So it's very important to treat herpes zoster, but we also have to tell the patient that there is nothing to worry, because there is, like I told you, it is also called as Nagin. So there was this understanding in people that it is something like a snake which is going to encircle you, and if it encircles, the patient dies. So it is essential for them to know that this is something which occurs unilaterally, either on the right side or on the left side, rarely crosses over to the other, and it definitely does not circle the body, and it's as such a self-limiting disorder. Even if you don't treat it, after 2 or 3 weeks, the rash is going to heal. So this counseling part is something which is very important. We also have to ensure them that the treatment is going to take care of the symptoms, and they should not be shifting to applying haldi or neem paste or things like that, or cleaning it with antiseptics, which might actually worsen the rash and worsen their symptoms. Treatment for this would last typically for 7 days. After that, depending on the symptoms of the patient, we can continue for maybe 2 or 3 weeks more, which is what generally an average patient requires. So the thing to understand in this is that chickenpox or herpes zoster both can be treated, should be treated, so that the patient is comfortable and the rash is not spread to the other family members, friends, or to colleagues. Especially in case of chickenpox, since it is a respiratory virus, it spreads through droplet infections. So people who are not in close contact can also get the infection. In herpes zoster, the infection is only through close contact, so we can just maintain an isolation or cover the area so that the people around are not infected. So taking care, taking treatment is the most important part in these two, and the assurance to the patient that either of these rashes is completely treatable and they need not worry. Thank you.